This is the Business Chat Podcast.
All right, for a special edition of the Business Chat, our new friend Shawn is actually going to be grilling Joel and I. Actually, we're just having a conversation.
Yes.
Is that right, Shawn?
I'm just going to ask you a series of questions. Nothing wrong with a series of questions.
Never anything wrong
So
with that.
even though the room is warm, everyone needs to relax.
And let me use my
We're
manners
not
here.
interrogating.
Drew Moore from Suited here at the Business Chat. It's
Joel
my colleague
Simpson.
Joel Simpson. Joel, what do you do? Tell everybody what you do for a minute.
Well, I do a lot of video production and help with marketing and strategic video planning.
Strategies. He's very strategic.
I like that.
Strategically placed this jacket with this shirt today.
I like that.
So, yeah. Fire away, Shawn.
So, guys, I just want to ask you guys a couple of questions, right?
do it.
Just like will everybody else. But I always like to start with something that's going to, if someone's driving along and you're that listener and you're like, hey, why do I want to keep listening to what's going to happen? Let's
That's right.
start with an epic problem, right? Because if it bleeds, it leads. So the question I have for you guys is, right, tell everybody that's listening an epic problem that you guys helped solve personally or professionally, right? And I think that's cool because it makes it human. Like, we're all humans. We deal with issues. And a couple of things, so as I frame this out, so you start thinking about it, right? So an epic problem is one that you can't write a check and make it go away, right? You have to work collaboratively. You have to think strategically, and we got a strategic guy, right? And then you got to implement tactically. So share, what are some epic problems that you guys at Suited or as an organization, wherever, have helped companies solve, right? Because when you do that, that's cool. And so I'm sure everybody gets all the same questions.
Right.
So the key thing is, what are the epic problems or an epic problem? You don't have to give me all of them, right? Just give me the top 10. No, but like what's number one that you guys, my gosh, like we help these people.
Yeah, you start. Sound like you had something.
Yeah, I was going to say the problem that I figured this out in college. I was going to college and I was, thought I was going to be a college educated person that was going to have all the degrees and good. And then that fell apart when I realized I couldn't make any money and I started a construction company. Yeah, I think I had a little bit of arrogance coming out of college, and then I was stuck in construction.
Wait a minute. You had arrogance coming out of college?
It's crazy.
Do people have that?
Higher
That's
education
crazy.
doesn't produce
How
that.
did that happen?
Unbelievable.
Well, then I was in construction. It was the only way I could figure out how to pay for my family and feed my wife and kids. And then I realized there was this whole group of people that are incredibly intelligent, well-educated, and they're just great solid earth people. They're building bridges. They are your chemical engineers running paper factories, and they are the engineers running the machines and the robots that are manufacturing your cars and everything else. And so I really just developed a passion to how do we, one, show that there's all these jobs that are available that require skilled labor and thinking, and you might not be able to do that through your arts degree in college or your psychology degree. You have to learn on the job, which means you might start off sweeping a floor, and then you move up to running the machine and making a solid six figures. There's great jobs out there.
Absolutely.
And so whether we were doing a lot of safety training videos, a lot of HR videos, and a lot of and then moved on to more kind of the whole vertical from where it's manufactured to the product that's being put out to market, and how do we show this to people and represent the product that these people are manufacturing and help them sell it. So that's the problem that have been trying to solve and help many companies solve, and it's different for every single company and what they need. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's become a passion of mine, and I get to go to factories and hopefully do this more as I
What
see.
impact has that had on people's lives? I think that's the key, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
when you do this and so, which is massive. So you're leaning into people and helping them reach that next level of life, and you're equipping, encouraging, empowering them to really know that this is a wonderful career path.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, just real quickly,
there's a
about
couple
what the
impacts.
impact?
Yeah, so one is you're hanging with people that don't have cameras in their face very often, so you get to make them feel great and have them tell their story, and it's a great story to tell that not a lot of people hear. So that's one impact, just encouraging that group of workers that don't get much attention. The other thing is time. Like, if you are a business owner and you are doing training, you don't realize how many hours. Like, we just did a training video for a franchisee. They have 200 franchises. Each one of those franchisees, it's mostly a summer business. Over the summer, they're each hiring 10 to 15 people per franchise. And so we created a training video that's going to save them an hour per employee they hire. So if you aggregate that over the 200 franchises, you're talking about thousands of hours that they can save just by creating a video that's going to train their future employees. And so downline all of their franchise, not downline, it's not a multi-level marketing system, to the rest of their group.
Well, also the financial impact of what you said is huge
Yes.
too, right?
Yes.
So there's the time saving, but it's repurposing. You're helping them repurpose that time into a revenue generating activity. That's
Yep.
how I look at it, right? From a business owner perspective.
Exactly.
And standardizing it, right? You're
Yeah.
able to standardize that.
Yeah.
So if you want all 200 of your franchises to have the same training ideas and attitude and principles, then you can do that from the top, and so it's coming down through your whole organization, so that every new employee knows the attitude and mindset With the training video, you can pick the actor that has that personality that fits your business, and that works well to create training.
That's cool.
It saves a lot of time.
So next question, because I want to keep everybody moving so that this way, if someone's made it to the next traffic light, they're continuing to listen on, right? And so the next thing is really, what's the purpose of Suited? So why do you guys exist? So either of you guys can answer that, but like really what's important? Like, okay, we wake up to do this because.
Right.
What is that? Like, tell us about that purpose.
Suited exists to tame the marketing chaos of small to medium-sized businesses. Marketing, by definition, is chaotic. It means 100 things to 100 different people.
Yes.
And you need an objective third party to analyze your goals, right? Long-range goals and short-range goals, and to design a custom system that has room to flex. It can't be chiseled in stone. Marketing's kind of written in pen for the cord in front of you than in pencil, but to guide you through that so that you can stay focused on what you got into business to do.
Love it.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. The next question is, so how does Suited function, right? So as an organization, I know Jim Collins does an amazing job in talking about people's flywheel and how they function, right? And organizations that function in an incredibly organized way are efficient, and it benefits internally the employees as well as externally the customer experience.
Right.
How is it that Suited functions, right? What's your flywheel? How do you guys walk us through your day or your process of how Suited functions?
Yeah. Well, I'll take that one.
Chaotic. No, I'm just kidding. Not
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's great. So control cast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what makes, and you probably should answer this question more than me.
No, I love
but
this.
It's finding the people that are really good at what they do, and then and making sure that they're aligned with us. Maybe we don't have them full time. Maybe they're doing other things, but making sure that we create a team that has them in our circle, so that way we have them on tap whenever needed. And that way, a lot of times what business do is they hire someone that they can afford and not someone that's really good.
Right.
So we like to bring in people that are really good, and then work to make them a key part of our business.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, right? Is that you focus on drive, which is going to lead into our next question, but which drives into, you get what you pay for.
Sure.
And so you look at what someone can really deliver so that it creates an amazing experience for someone on the receiving end, whether it's somebody that's listening like to this podcast, or whether it's somebody that is utilizing your service for the organization. And you maximize that dollar is what I'm hearing you say, because you're all about, let's go deep instead of just wide. And so in doing that, you're like the laser instead of the flashlight, right? The laser that cuts through steel, or flashlight lights up a room, right? And so am I hearing you correctly?
I think you're good. I would add to that, we basically are a concierge for the business that's outgrown that DIY stage. Joel and I and other experts on our team, we don't sit here and poo-poo and, you're using what? You're on Fiverr, you're building your own web. Go for it. Exhaust that. But for the businesses out there listening to this that go, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
There is an AI tool. I can find a guy and I can do that, but that actual action still takes time.
Right.
At some point. But then they still look at a cost, analysis and go, I don't have the budget to hire even 3 full-time people to do this. And if you're a manufacturer, you're in garage doors, you're in steel framing, you're in glazing, it's not indicative of you to have internal full-time marketing folks. You just won't be able to attract and retain them. So we bring the fractional model.
Okay.
So instead of you having to go find a really good writer in HIPAA compliant kind of medical speak, we'll find you that person.
Okay.
Now, do I have a HIPAA writer on staff at all times? No. But we have good writers to get you 80% of the way, and dial in that extra 20% that makes you unique and bring you a custom package. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
It's the fractional solution.
So the next question I want to ask, right? So because of your purpose and your process of how you guys function, right? Taming, the chaos, if you will.
Yeah.
So what do people experience, right? So what do people, 2 ways, right? What do people experience internally at the Suited team? And then what do people experience externally? Right. So the relationships that you guys build, I know it's not a transaction, but it's that relationship. So speak to the internal part, which is critical, as well as the external, and what do the people experience as a result of being part of the Suited team and working with you guys?
Well, I think we're going to adopt his snack ideology. That's one, I got to tell you. So we don't expence that today. I'm thinking we need to. Yeah, we have fun.
The snack to talk ratio is absolutely perfect.
So your question is, what do we experience together as we're working together?
Yeah.
And
what is your team? What is the Suited team experience internally? What's that experience like?
It'd be better for Joel to answer more of this, but I will say the hope is that we are building. So our team is united around that passion of saying, hey, we're trying to tame this person's marketing chaos. So that means sometimes having to disagree with the client, having to go, I know you're used to this thing, but let us help you here.
So you
but
speak the truth in love.
we speak the truth in love, and we say, you didn't hire us to kind of take your order like a server, kind of building what you want.
Right.
We're here a little bit more like a coach in the gym. It might sting a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're more looking for the person that goes, I'm done with riding the coaster. I actually want to see results and success.
So speak the truth in love, and you
speak
want
the truth
them
in
to
love.
just say, listen, you just need to embrace the suck.
You,
Right? Because there's certain
I think he needs to write our little like
Yeah,
on
you should definitely write it.
keep it simple.
In your words, Joe, how?
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
As far as ask the question again.
So what do people experience internally at Suited,
Internally,
and then
yeah.
what do people experience externally? Right?
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a ripple effect of
Oh, yeah.
what happens internally is going to spew out. That's what overflows out into the external population of people, right? Because if people are feeling a certain way, right? Like it's look great, feel great, play great.
Yeah.
So if people internally look great, feel great, play great, then what is that like for internally at Suited? And then talk about like that customer experience.
Yeah. Internally, I like that we were all very direct. And whether it's Benjamin, who is just, he will shoot to you straight, ex-military guy that
Love
I
him.
love. I'd rather,
Hoorah!
He answers very directly, but we have a lot of fun laughing and interacting and making fun of each other and having a good time. And then externally, we try to bring those people into that fun, direct, excitement. I think is I guess the best word for it.
Yeah,
is try to bring them into, organizing their business and then helping them along their path. It's hard to answer that question, I think, because everyone is different. We have billion-dollar clients where you're just interacting with one person and you're just getting emails from the CMO randomly, and then you're dealing with, Katie, the new hire or something.
Yeah,
And then sometimes you're dealing directly with the guy that owns the business and he's just experiencing marketing for the first time. And you're basically holding his hand and walking him through. This is a CRM or this And so it's very a wide different experience. Sometimes it's very personal.
You're helping him
intimate.
reach a climactic experience.
Yeah,
Right.
And then sometimes it's you're.
No, go ahead and answer the question.
And then sometimes you're just talking to the help basically on the outside, and you're making sure the production happens because you're just an outskirt of their large scale company. So it varies greatly. But ideally, I think we have fun and we're direct. I think it would be
And it's really, really polarizing, right? You come into working with Suited, and if you're used to, and it varies, a team of 5, a team of 500 different organizations come in, and if they're used to just email and then a text over here in their chaos, they find right away that we're very process driven.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work for people, and that's where this isn't a real fun comment on this episode, it just isn't going to be a great relationship, because to have efficiency and to have fun, we've got to be like, no, you need to send that to so-and-so and just trust the process. We're very good at doing this. And people go, yeah, but I kind of like my chaos. And we say, call us when you're tired of it, and then we'll work with you. So.
And it's amazing because you'll see that you expect it in a small business, but then you'll get into a $500 million, billion-dollar company, and it's like,
it's just equally as chaotic.
Well,
I can tell you.
Have, and some of them are great, but then some of them just have never put a process together, and they don't understand it, and then you're fighting upstream to help themselves, and it's an interesting process.
Yeah, help me, help you, right? So Jerry Maguire, one of the greatest movies.
Help
you.
Show me the money. Okay.
So exactly. So one of the closing or 2 questions I want to ask you guys before we end is, what is it that differentiates Suited, right? What are those measurable differentiators for your organization?
Yeah, we are hilariously, I'm told, inexpensive compared to hiring, and yet you're getting the exact same measurable results, minus having bottoms in seats, humans occupying cubicles,
right,
and minus having again that 40-hour a week that we can sit here and we can sit down, and I will actually perform for them a bit of a analysis on what do you need and show them how hiring's not what you should be doing.
Right.
And the mindset sometimes is we'll just put them in there and get them busy. So we come in from a financial angle and say, we can get you to where you need to be at basically the cost of one full-time C-suite hire and bring you a dedicated team of 6.
Yeah.
But folks hear that and go, well, there's no way that can happen. Or they are still leaning a little bit on their DIY tools. But that's the true differentiator, is we're still kind of the soup to nuts agency. A lot of folks have niched down. We just do pay-per-click ads. Hey, we just do social. We're still one of those groups going, we're kind of the Costco.
Yeah.
Which aisle do you want to walk down? We got hot dogs and we got
So you
diamond
one
rings.
shot,
We got
many
tires.
kills.
Correct. And
One
we
shot, many
we are
kills.
seeing massive, massive value in owners going, wow, I don't know how we got work done before this. This is great. We snap and you guys have a solution.
So if you're taming issues, then that's kind of like, at the circus, you are the ringleader.
Correct.
Yeah, we're gritty. I think that's crucial because a lot of times if you
crucial.
grow up in a standard institution of how this is how marketing runs, it becomes big, expensive, and slow.
Oh yeah. A lot of acronyms, a lot of marketing speak.
And everything takes a lot longer. Whereas everyone, I've been on big productions where you have 20 people, one guy just walk around with snacks, and like you were, which is
I
fun.
can be that guy. That's a
like
career I would
snacks.
want to go to.
I like the tablet.
When
guy.
I retire, I'm going to move to the snack guy.
Just the snack guy, that's going to be your job. But it's in
I'm the CSO.
if you
Chief
are
snack operator.
You have low margins in your business and you need a lot done, that doesn't work. You don't have, and then some people are going to push you that direction, and we're going to say, let's figure out what you need. Do you need the 20-man team with the snack guy, or do you need one guy and a camera that's going to help you hit your KPIs so that we can afford the 20-man team?
Yeah.
Like, let's figure out where you are and how we can get you to where you need to be.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I would think that'd be a toss-up between the snack guy and the camera guy.
It is a toss-up.
Is there a
Camera
way?
and snack.
What if we went panoramic
Let's just
and
do
got
a
rid of
cell
the camera
phone
guy?
and keep the snack
Right.
guy.
I mean, I would struggle with that, right? So the last question I have for you guys, right? So if somebody's almost made it to work, and I think the thing that really is key for people to walk away this or getting ready to walk in that door is like, what's the one thing that you guys would suggest as executives, right? And your fathers as well, that one thing that someone can implement immediately in their life to lead and live a better life of joy and happiness. So what's that one thing you would say to somebody, if there's one thing you could do or that somebody could do that will enable them to live a life of great joy and great happiness, regardless of their circumstances?
I'm going to take the personal version of that answer and say I've been hearing from some wise folks in my life and been applying it and seeing the dividends being paid back. There's a phrase that you're going to have to cheat something in life, cheat somebody. And so I've chosen that not to be my family and equally not to be my business, but other things that we all know as guys, you should be at CrossFit right now, Shawn, right? We should be pulling a tire down the road.
Hey,
aren't you
during the day? But
aren't you abroad right now? And going like visiting exotic places, and all of those are capital G good. And I think good can be there's all different versions of these posters, right? Good is the enemy, but I would say pick something to cheat. Right. That would be my advice for your personal life. If you're an entrepreneur, an owner, thinking to be, or you really are just driving to work today and you're just on the team, that time at work, they are expecting you to give them your all. And if you're in a relationship and you have kids or a significant other, you've chosen to make those valuable outside of that. It sounds very backwards logic, right? But maybe 5 days a week in the gym on top of that, or needing to travel because it's all over Instagram. You might need to cheat on a couple of those things and give yourself some rest.
Yeah.
And not be in all three sports.
I agree 100%.
And go to all 5 great studies or religious meetups.
So manage your capacity.
Manage your capacity. Say no to more things.
I truly agree.
Yeah.
Truly agree.
Yeah.
My
What would you say?
statement for the year is less noise right now. So it's 2 things. One is I'm trying to reduce the amount of distractions I have because I'm always feeling like I have to respond to an email, and it's become an obsession. I realized I was addicted to my phone, and I'm trying to break that this year.
Yeah.
And then
You're not alone in that. By the way.
and then right now, so less noise, reduce the amount of noise. I delete Instagram on my phone on a regular basis. I put it on when I need it, then take it off.
How do you tell a story though if you don't have Instagram?
It's hard, but I do it. And then right now, which is just trying to be present. If I'm cooking dinner and hang out with family, be there and take a break from the work, because I work from home often because I'm usually on the road. So I'm usually just working at home or on the road. And so it's so easy just to never leave work.
Right. Yeah.
And so trying to have less noise in my life and to be here right now.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to kind of, interview you guys. These questions, of course, that we're going to ask everybody that's on the show in season 5. But I think it's really cool. So hopefully folks that are listening into this, as they're getting ready to walk, they should be out of the car by now, probably, right? Walking in.
Or they're in Los Angeles and they're not even halfway there.
That's exactly. Well, they're almost out of their sub. And so I think the key thing is that, and I have family that live there.
That's right.
Bless their heart. But anyway, I think to me, it's what is it they can take very simply in their mind, right, and implement immediately to make an impact on their lives, personally and professionally. I think both of you give some tremendous insight in that, right? Because truly less is more.
Yeah.
Because if you don't manage your capacity personally and professionally, you're going to run out, and then it's not going to have a negative impact on your health.
Sure.
And mentally and physically. And I just think it's inappropriate. So
mindset.
So I totally agree. And thank you for giving the opportunity to have fun with you guys.
Thanks, Shawn.
So thanks for allowing a 12-year-old to come hang with you. So thank you. I'm very much grateful. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Business Chat is a production of Suited and Suited Studios. End the chaos and experience marketing relief with one full-service solution. Visit looksuited.com for more information.